distinguished colleagues, while I rise to support that this necessary and important bill be committed to the Committee of the Whole, I want to make a very important observation. The main purpose why we want this supplementary budget extended is for the executive to be able to complete the capital budgets of the previous year. That is the main reason. Therefore, we should do such by explicitly including a clause where it will indicate that the supplementary budget is not just a rollover, but an extension to allow the government to complete capital budgets. I have a reliable information that once we pass this budget, and it has been practiced, recurrent and current expenditures are being incurred in the name of that extension. And that breeds corruption. So we should, in passing the budget, put a clause that those to be employed, the projects to be implemented are purely that of capital, or maybe selected recurrent, if any. But if we do it blankly like that, I have reliable information that items that are recurrent in the previous year budget are being implemented because there is a blank check given to them.
Distinguished Senator Ojus Okalu.
Thank you, Mr. President. I support this bill wholeheartedly because, as the previous speakers have said, there are many uncompleted projects. And in any democracy or in any government, once appropriation is not completed, it goes back to the parliament. It's not only here, it happens in UK, in US. So we're not doing anything illegally. And I don't expect the public tomorrow to start saying that the Senate is running, we have authorized to run 10 bills. As long as it's legitimately extended like we are doing now. The executive is the one with the purse, and they know the difficulties in collecting the money from taxpayers or from revenue agencies. And we are bound to extend the budget because some of these budgets have been paid 50%, 70%, or 30%. Are we going to leave it? The answer is no. So I urge my colleagues, we're on the legitimate track. Nigerians might call us any name. This is not about name calling now. This is about extension of the budgets in our country, in our constituencies, in our districts. So it is not only, I also want to comment on what Senator Ignore Ndume is saying. The budget is not selective. The budget is all encompassing. You have to be one thing. Because the budget is one. You cannot select some item. Which one are you going to leave? We have approved a budget here, and you cannot go back to select some few items. It's going to be bad for this system. Because if you like my face, you select my own. If you don't like my face, you drop my own. So we're not going to select any budget. What we're extending is What we're extending is 2023 supplementary budget and the 2023 budget, so that every item in that budget is as important as the other. You cannot ask to select one road in Abuja and leave the one in Nyanya. So they're all the same period. We ask the, we ask the executive to implement everything so that we can have benefit of supplementary budget. Thank you, Mr. President, for the time. I'm sorry if that's not what you said. I thought that is what you said. I say, I'm sorry. I apologize. Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm worried, and I want to express it, that government is a continuum. Please, in the next coming budget, say 2025, they should carry over anything remaining in 2024 into the 2025. By this, we will stop all this extension and extension and extension. Any new budget should encompass part of the previous budget items that have not been implemented. And that should be the way we'll be going about this. Thank you.
I think I tend to, in subsequent budgets, whatever has not been implemented in the previous budget should be carried forward. That way, the issue of extension will not reoccur. I hope the chairman of appropriation will be well guided when he's dealing with the Minister of Budget and National Planning and the Minister of Finance and the Budget Office, so that way, whatever they are not able to accomplish by December, as they are bringing the 2025 appropriation bill, all those things should be included in those things for us to deliberate on and ensure that they are completed. Distinguished Senator Nengi.
President Bauchi Central of Bauchi State. Mr. President, let me say I am in full support of the provision to extend this budget to 2024 December. That is, of course, in tandem with the sweeping powers or near sweeping powers of the Parliament in the Constitution under powers and control of public funds. Section 80, 82, Section 80, sub 2, sub 3, and sub 4 has clearly demonstrated the powers of the National Assembly to prescribe into law how government money in the consolidated revenue is disseminated. Section 3 further also told us about how the National Assembly should make laws whereby monies actually comes out from the public funds. So the entire Section 80 inherently giving powers for us to do what we are asked to do. But as a pointer to that, it is important that this should not be becoming a normal procedure within the appropriation year period. It is important to understand we've started last year, and we need to put a thinking cap in making sure that this doesn't repeat itself in the subsequent years ahead. What I'm trying to say, this should not be seen as a normal, but it is necessary at this point in time because of the paucity of funds coming into the government revenues and because of the near need as an emergency to the citizens of this country in making sure that we allow this extension to move forward. Because all we do here is to represent the people and the people's interests. And the issue of technicalities, when it comes to fighting insecurity, when it comes to fighting hunger, should not be the reason why we turn down this resolution fully and well canvassed by the Senate leader. So I think it is important we do that. Lastly, it is important to also look at the last comment, which you have also alluded to it, whereby at the end of the financial year, some projects are not implemented. The financial bill has given us the right to carry it forward to the incoming year. That's what you call carry forward. And then it should be implemented, it should be joined with that next year's budget. It is important, lastly, sir, that the chairman of appropriation, the chairman of finance, should be able to make sure that before December, that this particular inputs are actually implemented. And if for any reason the government could not do that, they should report back to the National Assembly for discussion. It is important that we do that. Even as we are doing that, we do not know of what percentage has the supplementary budget been implemented. We need to know the percentage. We need to know how many remaining to be able to have a 100% implementation. I think it is the right move, and the Parliament should be able to give its note to this particular request. I so submit.
Mr. President, I think this second reading speaks for itself. I want to believe that since the budget itself was an executive bill, and since it's the executive that oversees the pulse of the nation, the reason that extending the lifespan of the budget is necessary to execute projects in order to ensure that no projects are abandoned, to leave out the specter of abandoned projects in Nigeria. Mr. President, to all intents and purposes, I think we should resolve to allow this bill to pass appropriately, knowing that the executive should be able to execute the budget and appropriately do so. And they owe Nigerians explanation if we pass the budget and they can't implement. They owe us and Nigerians explanation. Thank you, Mr. President.
Where we are considering the appropriation bill for 2025, the committees on finance, the committees on appropriation, the committees on all the other organs that make up the budget process should be able to ask questions. And if, for any reason, some of these projects are not concluded or fully implemented, then they should submit the level of implementation, and we should include it in the next year's budget as ongoing and appropriate accordingly. That way, there will be no need to think of extension. I think that's the proper thing to do. Senator Wadada, you have something to add?
Yes, thank you. The extension of the budget, I would really like to throw more light on what Senator Ndume really spoke about. As we are extending the budget, we should, as a matter of responsibility, exclude recurrent. And the reason is this. If, for instance, in the budget, the initial budget, recurrent shows an item where seminar or conference would have been attended, but wasn't attended because there was no fund. Now that you are extending the budget, that means it is going to be carried over. Meanwhile, the period of such exercise would have been gone. So I think we should concentrate more on capital. Capital items should be the items that we should concentrate more in extending, rather than extending both capital and recurrent. I so contribute.
Thank you. Where a seminar had passed, and then because of this extension, somebody decides to appropriate or to take the money for a seminar he did not attend, then it means ICPC will look into it. So don't worry about it. The agents, all the agencies of government have different jobs to do. But I take cognizance of what you have just said. But remember what Senator Orji Sokalo said. We are extending the lifespan of a budget, and we are extending the lifespan of the supplementary budget. The other issues of implementation are left to the executive. Then the issue of oversight is left to the legislature. We are going to do the oversight and be sure of what they are doing. And from time to time, we are here. They will bring their reports, and then they'll bring their findings, and we'll look into those findings. We can't conclude the problems of the future at this stage. Therefore, I will put the question. Distinguished colleagues, those who support that this bill be read a second time, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The clerk, you may proceed to read the two bills the second time. Distinguished colleagues, a bill for an act to amend the 2023 Appropriation Act to further extend its implementation year to 31st day of December 2024, and for related matters 2024 SB 489, second reading taken. Distinguished colleagues, a bill for an act to amend the 2023 Supplementary Appropriation Act to further extend its implementation year to 31st day of December 2024, and for related matters 2024, second SB 488, second reading taken. Leader of the Senate. Distinguished colleagues, having concluded the arguments, those in support that the two bills be now remitted to the committee of the whole, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So the leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues,
you may wish to move a motion that we move into Committee of Supply. So we'll do the clause-by-clause consideration.
Mr. President of the Federal Republic of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I so move.